Well, I wanted to start things off historically, so let's go back to 1973, because this is going to be a very short talk. 1973. First I want to do is recognize the cell phone invention. And we are so fortunate tonight to have Marty Cooper here, who invented the cell phone, and his wife, Arlene. And I don't know if you caught the 60 Minutes segment. The 60-minute segment was incredible. It was just a few weeks ago. And if you haven't seen it, because it's such an extraordinary time, really, where would we be without Marty's invention almost 40 years ago? And to have him here in San Diego and here tonight is just, I think, extraordinary. So now let's go fast forward, because we're going to skip a whole bunch of years because it's hot. And we're going to, just think about, there's about 4 billion cell phones on the way to 5 billion cell phones right now. There's more cell phones than there are toilets in the world, all sorts of things like that. We won't go all through the statistics. But there are almost 7 billion people in this planet. But there are only two who I want to just comment, Gary and Mary West, who are so incredible, so unique. And so I think, this is such a, as mentioned already by Brent, a great time, a momentous moment in medical history, really, how this institute came about. I met Gary and Mary in 2008, the summer of 2008, and at the time they told me that they were working on building a senior center downtown. And that center is up and operational. If you're not aware of it, is, I understand, extraordinary, and it not only feeds hundreds of indigent seniors every day, multiple meals, but also looks after them, teaches them the use of the internet and all sorts of incredible things. And it's really, this is just one of the things that Gary and Mary have done for this region and for their fellow man. So it's really quite amazing. Now, what we started talking about back a couple of years ago was the fact that medicine, healthcare is in a desperate situation. There's profound waste, as already mentioned by Don. We're at a point where we're pushing $3 trillion, 20% of our gross domestic product, and something has to be done. And clearly, Gary and Mary are passionate about that, and they have put the big bet on this whole, what I think has to be looked at as creating a movement in medicine and leveraging the whole opportunities that are in the space of wireless. So just to point out what that means. It means moving towards a totally data-driven world. And in the last decade, we had the digital devices that would be considered lifestyle devices. But now, some of the things that you're hearing about, such as we working with Carlos Slim and so many other sensors, it's the opportunity for life-changing devices, and that's, I think, really the goal of this institute. So of San Diego, of all places, to have this in a hub of wireless with Qualcomm, with 600 other wireless companies here, and with over 100 that are now dedicated to wireless health applications is quite extraordinary. Before closing in a couple of comments, I do want to mention that we have 3 big new technology and education partnerships tonight to say for the first time. And these are, what are these T&E relationships? Well, what they represent, we have one, of course, with Qualcomm, and we recently announced in May one with General Electric. But these are 3 new ones, and these are relationships where they are to share technology and also to be committed to the advancement of this space in education in every possible way. There's no flow of finances in any direction, but it's an agreement to work seriously together, not just at a general level, but with specific critical projects. So the 3 companies that we have formed this relationship and which are announced today, the first to mention is Cisco. I think everyone here knows Cisco. You probably have Cisco wireless in your house, but it is a critical infrastructure to the internet and to our wireless world. And to have them join us, and particularly to recognize Nick Augustinos, who couldn't be with us, but is responsible for the health care of that company. He's unfortunately in Belfast, Ireland tonight. The second one I wanted to mention is Medtronic. Medtronic is the largest medical device company in the world. and Medtronic. All of us have multiple friends and contacts from Medtronic, and in fact, to have them involved with this institute, and have already had many visits and meetings with them, and starting to design exciting specific projects is terrific. And the last one I want to mention is a San Diego company, which is a fantastic relationship, and that's CareFusion. And Mike Martino is, I don't know if he's here in the room, but Mike is representing CareFusion here tonight. David Schlotterbeck couldn't make it, who's the CEO. But I think you know CareFusion. They have a very key role in hospital wireless products, such as those which catch medication errors, those that also would be used to diminish the chance of hospital infections, and many other things that they're doing in this space of wireless. So that's really terrific. Don mentioned that we have several exhibitors that are demonstrating their wireless gadgets, if you will, tonight. And I hope you'll take the time. It's in the other corner of this floor. And these people came from all points to be with us tonight. And it includes iRhythm. It includes Zio, which Ben Rubin came all the way from Boston. Bill Willis, for the CEO of iRhythm, came from Northern California. Gary Manning and Gunnar Traumer from Sotera Wireless, which is a San Diego company for vital signs. Mike Srivatha from Corvinus came from Northern California. That's a heart failure Band-Aid that Brent alluded to as far as diminishing readmission. Thad, and I can't say his last name, it's a very long Greek last name, from GE. He's here demonstrating the V scan. I just call him Mr. C. And then there's Bruce Brandis and Neil McQueen from Airstrips Technology, and also Andy Brody from CardioNet. So please take a chance if you haven't seen these, because they're really, it's the future of medicine, just in one corner of this floor. So now, just to say where we are, and just to express a few words towards Gary and Mary. Not everybody here knows them. But they are such extraordinary people. As I mentioned, in that denominator of billions, there are only two people that Susan and I have ever known like them. Don has already mentioned the extraordinary generosity, but I just want to say that they got to where they are with a work ethic, which is just profound, and it sets the tone for what's the remarkable achievements that this institute is striving for. They're compassionate. They're people of the highest integrity. Just to tell you a little bit about them, beyond the senior support, which is a big thing that they're very passionate about, they're really into pets, and particularly dogs, and they do all sorts of things to protect dogs, not just the two dogs that they have, but all the dogs that they can help around. And they're really big Charger fans. I mean, serious Charger fans. Just amazing, actually. So they're passionate people, and they really care about their country and their fellow man. And that's what this really comes together as what they're doing for this remarkable field of advancing medicine and creating a movement in medicine. So it really fulfills my favorite motto, which is think big and act bigger. And that's really what I think Gary and Mary are all about. So really want to thank them for all their beyond remarkable support.